Okay, good. Oh, okay. I just made it everything one particular one text file only. Okay, I made it one PDF also where first what is Angular or what are the things we discuss for Angular. Okay, what are the Angular features, and at the same time after next how to start your Angular, how to create your first application, and what are the different folder structures in the Angular, and then next what is different component in the Angular. Okay, like this we I just made it the whole structure, and this whole text file and the text file and the PDF file, both I will push it into the drive today. Okay, now let's start it here, sir. Let's start a new one. Where we are. Okay. We are yesterday we discussed, sir, communications. We are in the communications. Yesterday we discussed the communication between. Yesterday we classroom for Angular batch don't have any classroom, sir. This batch we are having so many members. Yeah, because we are having so many members, we are going with Google Drive. Okay, so for Pratik, we are using Google Drive now. Anyway, now see, yesterday what we discussed is we just had a quick revision of whatever we discussed till yesterday, and after that we discussed parent to child communication. Like that means if one component is inside and another component, then we will call those components as parent and child in the notation. Now, how the parent component will communicate with the child component? We have seen it. We have seen it. Whenever the parent component, whenever inside the parent component, for example, inside the main component, inside a component main, if you are calling, if you are calling another component, imagine inside one component, if you are calling something app header, there is a component named app header. Yesterday we discussed this. If I call this particular component app header, sir, what I will do is I will just go here, whatever the values I want to send it. For example, MSG equals to some value, I will send it. And this value will be received by the app header using the @input method. Now, when you write it @input with the brackets, automatically that this app header will receive this MSG, sir. Okay, now you can make it dynamic also. You can make it dynamic also. You can get it the value from an input box. You can get it the value in different ways. Okay, even I even made two-way data binding, and based on two-way data binding I got the value also. Okay, for some people, if the value is if the volume is low, sir, please check it yourself. Like, is it low for everyone or is it low for only one some people? For some people it's okay. Okay, so good. Now let's go, sir. Let's go and check it what we discussed yesterday. Okay. Now, now this is actually this is the one we did till now, till yesterday. Let's just quickly see each other here in the projects. Uh, okay, where we did, no, not in the projects. We did it inside the Angular. In the Angular, what we did in the Angular. uh, in projects, this is a work environment. Inside the Angular only we did this everything, sir. Okay. Now inside the Angular we have projects, sir. Inside this projects, yesterday we did communication for, input. I think we did communication INP. Now inside this, what we did, let's repeat it. Now if you see, main component is the app component, sir. App component have two things. One is app HTML and the app TS. And inside this app component, if you see here, you are having it, uh, inside the app component, you are having the values like app header and app footer. So app header is one component, app footer is one component. These two components are inside the app component. So I'm 100%. So what we can say, 100% we can say it. This app component is the parent component, and the app header and the app footer are the child components. Okay. So till now we are clear this children component and the parent component. And each children component, so whenever the children component get called in the parent component also pass some properties here. See, these are properties. So some properties I'm passing it. What is the property I'm passing? Message. But here this property message is having a property binding. Property binding means from the TypeScript, from the component file, we will get it to the template file. How you will get it, sir? Here message equals to INP. That means what is the message value here? Message value is here from INP value. Whatever the INP value here, you will get that value into this. Now what is INP value? Nothing, sir. Here empty. So initially it should be empty. Initially it should be empty. That is true. But I connected that INP with NG model here, sir. What is this NG model? NG model will make it two-way data binding. That means here one input box will be there. If I enter anything in that input box, automatically INP will change. Automatically when INP in the back in the TypeScript changes, automatically app header INP also will changes. So app header will receive different message, and that different message will be taken. How the app header will receive it, sir? In the app header, you will write at the rate input message equals to string. Sir, some people are asking this question, why did you put this not? Always your TypeScript will expect some kind of initialization. That means initial value. Whenever you declare any variable here, here a message is also one variable only now, one value only now. It will expect what is the initial value. Sometimes I don't want to give any initial values. In that case, I will put the exclamation mark. Okay. Yeah. Now let's discuss next one, sir. After this, today we are going to discuss how the child component can interact to the parent component. This is interesting because parent component is calling the child. So because it is calling it, is passing it directly. But did the child component inside the child component, did you ever write the parent component? No. Inside the child component, you will not write the parent component. But how the child component will give the values to the parent component, that is what we are going to discuss now. Okay, let's see. We have to pass the data to pass the data from from child component child component to parent component. To pass the data from child component to parent component, we have three ways. We have three ways. First one, at the rate output. We have the first one, which is at the rate output, sir. Okay, to pass the data from the child component to the parent component, we have the three ways, sir. One is the first one, at the rate output. how this at the rate output will work. Focus on this. At the rate output is somewhat tricky, but actually it is so easy. Now, how is at the rate output will work? The at the rate output, the at the rate output allows you to, basically at the rate output will allow you to emit custom events. So at what we do, instead of directly sending the data, we can't directly send the data from the child to parent. What it will make, it will create one event. It will create one event which is called custom event. Okay, and where we will create from a child component, and this custom event will be triggered by the parent component. So it will create one custom event from child component to its parent component. You will understand it. We will read it one more time once we understand the thing how it will be done. Okay, it can be used for the user interactions actually. Okay, for example, see this one. If you go for some kind of Amazon or something, okay, if you go for some kind of Amazon or something, now now see, imagine this cart is parent component. Okay, now here I am going to one item, and if I click on any item, any value, any value, so the moment you did something in the child component, it is updating the parent component, isn't it? So whenever child component did some action, whenever child component did some action, that action will resulted a change, or that action will be passed, okay, into the parent component. This kind of things will be useful for for user interactions. So how it again, yeah. Now this is useful, this is useful when when user interactions happened in, these things will useful when user interactions happen in child component to notify parent component, notify parent component. So whenever in child component something happened, to make it notify in the parent component about those interactions, whatever the interactions happened in the child component, we will use this at the rate output, sir. So let's see how it will be done, which is very easy. Go here, sir. Now let's go here. Now let's go to terminal, sir. CD Angular. Now here, let's type it ng generate application. So I'm creating another application, sir. Ng generate an application. Whenever you create an application, application name you will give it. I'm giving it communication CTP, which is child to parent. I'm thinking it. Okay. Now standalone equals to false. That's it. So it will create one application. Okay. So you should not put space here. Communication CTP. Now you want CSS, you want rendering, no. That's it. Now it will create automatically a simple one, sir. Let's clear the things. Now let's go to the Angular. Let's go to the projects. Let's see the communication, source, app. Now go here. So what is the main here? Main module will be there every time. You don't need to check it. Now after the module, you will have one component file, one template file. Only these two are matter to me. Okay. So I will write it here. Ng serve communication oh, C2P. Now it will serve automatically that particular application, sir. Okay. Serve means it will open it in 4200. See, it opened in 4200. Now I will open it. Okay. Now let's go to your code and delete all the things. This is a HTML file. Now let me delete everything. Let's put a div, and inside this div, let's put some h1. I am app component. Now, along with this, let's go here, sir. Again, one more time. I'm going into another terminal. Now, CD Angular. Now, here, create one component, sir. Ng generate component. How do you create components, sir? Ng generate component to some component name. I'm going with some component name. This time, I'm going with component name is child only. Child. Ng generate component child. And which project you are creating, this project equals to communication CTP. Now automatically it is created inside this thread. See? Now if I go here, inside the child component, sir, child component is also having HTML. Child component is also having one TypeScript file, right? Now inside this child component, you have something called child works. Will it come it on the screen, sir? Will this child work will come on the screen now? Will this child work comes on the screen? See? No, it's not coming. Why it is not coming, sir? Because we did not call. So let's go here and let me write it here. And what is the name? Always name will be similar, sir. App something. See, app child. App child. So I will go here. I will write it here. App child. So let's go here. Okay. Let's go here and check it. See, child works. Am app component. Child works. Right? Now, so app component is the parent component. Ma child works is a child component. Now I will even make it here. Style equals to border 1 pixel, solid black. Okay, which is height 200 pixels, height 300 pixels, width 300 pixels. Just to show you guys, I'm doing it. It's not like mandatory. Now, if you go and see, this is the main component. Inside this, in child components also, let's make it some simple logic. A div inside this. Okay. Now here, if I see style equals to uh, again, where is this? Yeah, Control C. we let's make it 200, 200. Now you can clearly see on the screen that app component is a parent component and child works is a child component. Same like if you see Amazon example, my Amazon example where cart is in the parent component and somewhere some item is there in the child component. If inside the child component one event is there, if that event get triggered, okay, now that event whatever get triggered, sir, that event will have an effect onto the parent component. That is what the parent to child communicate, sorry, child to parent communication will happen. How it will be, let's see. Now here, let's put some simple events, sir. Okay, let's put some simple events. I will put some event button. Okay, now here button is an event now. Now let's write it like click me. I'm writing it click me. Now here, whenever I click it, whenever I click it, click, right? See, click is a event, right or not? Click is a event. That means whenever this button clicked, that thing will happen. Whenever the button clicked, it will happen. Now I will write it uh, one method fun. I'm writing fun. But sir, is fun is defined? Is fun is there? See, I wrote fun, but it is an error. What is the error? Fun is not exist in the child component. So where should write it? Where should you write this fun? You should write this fun in the component file. So let's go to component file. See, in the component file, I will write something called fun, sir. That's it. Now no errors. Okay. If I call this, if I write it here, something, for example, I will just write it console.log button clicked, right or not? So if I do this, what will happen? I- if if the guy clicks this particular button, automatically it will call this function, and automatically when this function get called, button clicked will print on the console. This is how the normal template to component will come, right or not? From template first I came to the component. Now interesting point is this whatever in from this particular fund, it should go to the parent. Okay, from this particular fund it should go to the parent. Now here is interesting point, sir. Here you will write something called at the rate output. At the rate output, so you have to take this also. See, the more automatically it will only import it. Sometimes if it's not, you have to write it at the rate output. You have to create one event. Let's take it like my event. I am only writing it my event. Whatever the name you like it, you can write it my event. But important thing is equals to new event emitter. Event emitter. My event, which is equals to new event emitter. See, event emitter also you have to take it. That's it. See what you did, sir. I am creating a custom event, sir. I am creating some kind of event on my own. What is the event, sir? For example, see here, click is there now. Did I created click? No, already click is existed. Like this click on click is existed, on change is existed, on input is existed, on download is existed, or mouse event on mouse over is existed. These kind of things are existed by default. But did anywhere my event existed? No. I am creating something event called my event. Now I will pass this my event. Okay. Now how what I will do, inside this fun, I will pass it like if someone call this my event, if someone call this my event, this dot, okay, my event, this my event dot emit, this dot my event. Emit means it will emit, it will give, okay, and I'm giving some value, okay. Now go to your parent component. Go to your parent component. Now in the parent component here, uh, now here in the parent component, what you can do is whenever you call the child component, sir, whenever you call the child component here, you will give one event. You know what is the event you will give? My event. See, my event. That means you are triggering an event in the child component of my event. But sir, is the my event type of event is existed anywhere? I created it. I created one event here. So now someone, if someone clicks on this particular event, okay, if someone calls this particular event, sir, then what will happen? What will happen? Let me write it one function here, fun2, okay, dollar event. Dollar event is like passing this particular value, sir. Now here, what I will write here, I will write fun2. Inside this particular fun2, I will write it like, okay, fun2, I will write it here something m, and I will write it here something msg, which is equals to initially msg. I am taking one value msg. Now see, this dot, this dot msg equals to m. M has implicit type of any. Okay, let it give any only, no worries. Now go here. I'm printing it msg. Now let's go here, sir. Now if someone clicks on this, see, whenever I click on this button, where is this sum values coming? Where is this sum values coming, sir? Whenever you click on the button, where is this sum values coming? Sum values coming into the parent, not to the child. Now how it is coming, sir? One more time. One more time I will tell you whole thing. See one by one. Okay. Now, sir, how it is happening it? First thing, it is not directly giving it. Whenever some action, some interaction, that is what I told you. When in child component, in some interaction happens, then only it will call to the, it will send it to the parent component. How it is, sir? Okay. Now go to the code. In the code, in parent component I said, please whenever you call the child component, you said it like my event. My event means there is one event named my event. If you trigger the my event, in case if my event comes, in case my event comes, what you have to do, you have to call this fun2, and you have to pass whatever the event, that what dollar event means, whatever the my event send, whole thing will be received by dollar event. Then if you go here fun2 in its component, whatever it receives, what it receives, whatever the value they have, okay, in the my event, and that value I am storing it into msg, and that msg I am printing it here. Okay, this one is clear. Now what is this my event? If you go to here child component, inside this child component, sir, I created a button, and when someone clicks on the button, it will call the fun. That is also simple, sir. But here interesting point, here I created my own custom event. Okay, there is no my event type of event. Okay, there is no event. Click is there. Click is not created by me. Someone already created it. Already click event is there. But my event is I'm only creating. I am creating it. How do you create, sir? You will write it like new event emitter, like that. You will write it. Automatically, it will create, and you will put at the rate output. And at the same time, if someone calls fun, that means if someone clicks on a button, it will call this fun, and immediately I will write it like this dot my event dot emit some value, and whatever the value here I emit, that value will be sent there, sir. Only that value will be sent there. Is it clear, ma? Is it clear till now? You can send it here so many things also, sir. Here you can send it custom value also. Now see, instead of this, what if I want to send some another value? Now see, I will write it here. Const my message equals to hello everyone. Now here I will write it here. Instead of this, I will write it here message. So automatically what will happen? It will receive the hello everyone message. Okay. Now whenever someone clicks on it, hello everyone will be received by the parent component, sir. Okay. Now we'll do the more and more examples, don't worry. Okay. But just have a focus on it. You will create one event in the child will create one event, and that event will be triggered by the parent. Okay. And will be received by the parent, sir. Okay. Now let's make it more and more better. Now now see, now next one. Here let's do one more example, sir. Let's do one more example. Now here let's put some simple input box. Now inside this input box, I will write something. Okay, I will write something, and that value will store it in the child component inp. That value will store it in child component inp. So I'm giving inp initially something empty. And how does the both will be connected, sir? By connected by something called directly. If you want to connect, you will use something called ng model, sir. ng model ng model equals to inp. Sir, why I'm getting error, sir? Can anyone tell me why I'm getting error? Can anyone tell me why I'm getting error, sir? Good. I'm getting error because forms module is not there. Okay. Now let's try it, sir. Now let's write it forms module, sir, quickly. INP is not, some people think it INP is not defined or INP is not already existed, not right. See, INP is defined here. See, INP equals to single quotation marks, and it's not uh, already defined. It's not defined anywhere because that is a different code. Now here, I will go here, and in the modules, all I have to do is forms module. I have to write it. Browse app routing module, comma, here forms module. Automatically everything will be right, sir. Now see, ng model will work with only forms module, sir. Okay. Hmm. Now usually, sir, usually whenever you create one event will send it only one value. Okay. One event will send it only one value, sir. Now here, this is interesting point is also. Okay, I will just make it this module close. If I go here, if you want to send it 2 3 values, you have to put that 2 3 values in an array, and that array you have to send it. Okay. Now anyway, I'm gonna send it as inp. Now go here, this inp equals to ng model equals to inp, sir. Now automatically it will be connected to the inp. That is good. And now I will write it here. Instead of sending message this dot inp, simple. Now whatever the value which is there, which will be sent here. Now let's go to your application. Let's see here, and one input box is there, and if I write it a, now here this a value will be stored in the inp, right? Now A, B, C, D, E, F, G, something is storing in the INP. But sir, is it going into the parent? No. Why? Because directly it won't go. To make it directly go, actually, you have one event. Whenever you click on this event only, whenever you click on this event only, in the component file, that particular fun will be called, in that event will emit something, and the emitted will be received. So everything will happen after you click. If you did not click, it will not happen. See? No, sir, I want it automatically should happen. No worries. Instead of making it a button click, you give event for the input only. I will give event for input only. I will write it one event called change. Change means on changing it will happen. Now I am just calling it on change fun. So I don't need any button now. The moment you change it in the input, it will change it in the parent also. Now go here. Now see, if you change it something, and automatically it will change it here. That is on change. I think there is one thing called on input also. See, any doubts, ma, in this? You can send something like object also, sir. Sir, I want to send multiple values. I don't want to send only one or two. So you can create one array, sir. You can create an array, or you can create one object. Now, if I create one object like const data equals to some data value, I will put some name, Raj. Okay, I will put some basic values, sir. I will put name Raj, age 20. Like this, if I put some basic data, okay, you don't need to put constant all in the class. If I write it something like this, if I send it this dot data, then that automatically my parent can receive these things. Okay. So, but one event will emit one value. One event will emit one value, not one component, sir. This is very interesting point. Not one, not the child component. Child component can create 100 events, and each event will send it one value, sir. Okay, whether it's an array, whether it's an object, or whether it's some kind of value, it doesn't matter. Is it clear, ma? Is it clear, sir? Anyone have any doubts? Let me know if you are having any doubts. Okay, I hope no, so I'm just moving on. Okay. Now, second method. Sir, first method is directly we will use something called at the rate output, sir. But is it the only one way? No, actually we have three ways direct to get these things. Now, second one is actually very easy. You will feel it, this one so good. What we can do. Yeah, now, just a minute. Where it is? Huh. Now, One more thing, one more time. Some people are getting confused, Isma. What is this emit means? This event will emit, that means event emit means whenever event get triggered, that means if someone triggered this event, my event, what it should get this, it should emit the this dot inp. What is this dot inp? Whatever the inp value which is given in the child component. Okay, now who triggers this event? Parent will trigger this event. Parent will write this event, automatically it will be triggered. Just do it one more time, ma. Just if you practice it, just type it one more time, automatically you will get it. It's not a big deal. Okay, next one. Next one. There is another way. Second way. Second way of writing it. You can use something called reference values, sir. Now, this is interesting point, and at the same time, we will discuss in detail about the reference points in later also. But still, let's go with something called reference points, sir. Also called template reference variable. We will also call it as template reference variable. What is the template reference variable? I will tell you. How it will work, for example, if you remember your html and css, in html you will have so many elements, and every element will be in the dom. And how do you get the dom elements? How do you get select the elements of the dom? Okay, how do you select the elements in the from the dom in javascript? If you want dom elements from the html to the javascript, how do you select, sir? Did you get my point, ma? How do you select the DOM elements from the component, from particular HTML basically? Very good. Someone write it. Get element by ID, get element by ID or something. Right? That is true. So this element by ID is like, that means that is already whatever the functions, whatever the DOM elements HTML, they are already having some IDs. IDs are like names. You give some names to them, and using that name you will select them, right or not? Same thing, sir. You can give specific names to every element. Okay. Anything in your code, in your Angular, you can give some name, direct name. That name is called reference variable. That is called template reference variable. Now, you know what is the template? See, for example, child, app child. You can give, so I will write it here also. This, see, I will write it here. H1, for H1, I am giving one name, hash chitti. Now, see, I give one name, sir. What is the name of this H1 now? Chitti. And everyone, it's like it has to be like a hash. You know what is it mean by hash? It's like the ID notation in your normal HTML. So why we give it like that means you should not write any other names, any other elements with this name. Okay. Now see, now Angular, how it will understand. Angular will understand this H1 is having an ID like a chitty. Okay. Now if you go here, if you go to this particular one, code, inside this content, inside this content, if you see this H1, this H1, you can't see it anything like H1 ID or something. Okay, it won't apply it any styles or something. It's not like ID. See, it's not like writing ID. It will write it in it. It will be understand by Angular, but it won't be understand by your CSS. Understand it. It won't be understand by your CSS. For example, sir, it is like ID only. Now, if I go to CSS and if I write a hash chitty something CSS, will it apply to H1? No, it won't apply. Okay, but still you can do complete manipulations. What is that manipulations? Now I will write it here. Chitti. See, if I go here and if I can print the whole HTML element. See, I'm printing that HTML heading element. Now I will write it chitty dot text content. Now whatever the text content inside the chitty, I'm printing it in the HTML only. See, you are whatever you did it in your JavaScript. In JavaScript, what you will do, get element by ID, you will take it and you will take it the text content and you will manipulate. Now that thing you can directly do it in HTML only. So you will take one element, you will give that element one name, and you can use it next time also. Now see, I am app component came. Did you guys understand ma what I did? What is it mean by template reference variable, which is a simple concept. Okay, so anything in your code you can give one name. Okay, that is called reference. I gave it chitty, but in real time you won't give it. It's like some kind of reference. That is why it's called template reference variable. Now what I'm gonna do is, for this child component also, I'm going with one name. Okay, I will give one name, my child. Okay, I'm giving one name, my child. So parent is calling this particular app child as my child. Now now what I will do it is, I will put a button, and whenever someone clicks on the button, automatically from my child, whatever the values which are there in my child, those values I will get it. Okay. Now inside the child, see, inside the child component, I am having one data. Can you see it? Inside the child component, I'm having this data. Can I send this data anywhere? Did I send this data anywhere? No, I did not send it. In my child component, data is there, sir. Now I'm going into app component. And I put this app child one name. That's it. I just put one name. Now what I will write it, what I can write it is, I can write it so simply. I can write it here. My child dot data dot name, and the name is Raj. And you can make it triggered actions also. See, now I will make it one triggered action. It's like I will put one button. Now click parent. Now inside the parent, I'm putting one button. If someone clicks on this, what will happen? Are you? I hope you are understanding it, ma. Slowly focus on it. If I call this, I will call one method. Mut. So I'm just going into the component, and here I'm just writing one method which is mut. Now go here, sir. I what I did, just focus here one more time. Voice specs came now. See here what I did. I just whenever someone clicks on this MUT, automatically it will call the this method. And inside this method, what I will write it, inside this method, I will write it like uh, uh here I will just write it like this. My child dot data dot name. Now I will go to the component. Here I will get its name, and here I will just write it console dot log name. That's it. So automatically, if you go here, if the parent click this, and the value which is coming from the child is taking it. Okay, okay. One more time I will tell you. It is so simple. Actually, I hope you all remember the at the rate output. Okay. Now this one is so simple. This one is so simple. What is console.log? If someone is asking what is console.log, console.is log is like how do you print it in the logger, console ma. In JavaScript we will print it in console na. Same thing here also. See, go here, understand it how it will work. So simple. This child, see any element which is in, if you take it, forget about this button, forget about this all. Sir, if you have in HTML any element, let me put any element, like what element you want, uh, what element I can take it. Let's take one input element. Okay. For this input element, if I put something called hash my input, I put one name, right or not? Now I don't need any component. I don't want to put property binding. I don't want to put event binding. I don't want to go to two-way data binding, ng model, nothing. Without anything also you can get the values. How you will get? You will directly write my input. See, my input dot. So then whenever you set it, automatically in the DOM whole element will be selected my. It is like your document dot get element by ID. Same thing. I will select this element, my input dot, and here I will select this element. Whenever I select it, I will write it like my input dot value. Then whatever the value in the input, it will come here. Go here. See, now if I write it here, if I just write it here, okay, now whatever the value, wait, my input. Now it will print it the HTML input element if you see. Okay. Now my input dot, I think target will be there. No, text content. How do you get the input element value? Its property is directly value only, na? So you can directly do like this, or you can even call this. You can even call one function. Now, whenever you do this, you can call one function. You can pass the values. You can get these things. Okay. Sir, instead of doing this all in the HTML, I wanted to do from the child component. So whenever I call the child component app child, see app child, I'm giving one name. What is the name I gave? My child. Now go here. This is app component. Na? Inside this app component, I don't need at the rate output. I don't need any events. Now inside this, what is there? Data is there. Inside this, one array is there. Let me put one array of values, or let me put something value. Some kind of message. And what is this message? I am good. Okay. You can write it something like that, or you can take it some kind of some count method. I'm using one method counter. So you know what this counter will do? Counter will do this dot count plus plus. So this is good. See, I have I created one value here. I created one value count. And I created one function also. What is the function named? Counter. Now go to your logic, sir. Your logic is so simple. Now here inside my code, now I will directly write it. My child, my child. So my child means automatically child component, sir. Inside this child component, count is there, print it. Now what it will print? Now what it will print inside the my child? What is the value now? What is the count value inside my child? Count value is 0. It will print 0, sir. Very good. Okay. So till now, no worries. Now here, I will also call directly. I will put one button. If someone clicks on this button, click parent. If someone clicks on this button, and it will call the my child inside the my child counter method, call counter method. I'm saying it. Then automatically it will update the value. Now go here, go to my logic. Now if I click on this, 1 2 3, it is updating. But interesting point is I did not write this me- method in the parent. I did not write this count also in the parent. Both are in child only. Both are in the child only. Okay. But they are updating here. Are you getting my point, ma? Because it is easy directly. How it will work, sir? It will work it like a DOM element in your in your normal logic, in your JavaScript. How it will work it, document get element by ID and all same like this. It will work it this one, and this is called template reference variable. Template reference variable. See my child, template reference variable. Okay. So here you should also understand, if someone asks you a question, if someone asks you a question, how do you access, how do you access DOM elements, DOM elements in Angular? You have to tell, how do you access the DOM elements in the Angular, sir? You will use something called hash, which is template reference variables. You have to say template reference variables. So in majority cases, sir, in Angular HTML files, we will call it as template. Why? Because it's not a normal HTML file. In this HTML file only you can write the JavaScript also. See, in this HTML file only you can call the events. In this HTML file only you can directly take the values and print it like the string interpolation. And you can do some kind of like this directly the DOM manipulation, like get element by id, dot text content, or dot values. Those kind of things also you can do it here. Any doubts here? Any doubts here, ma? Now there is another way also, at the rate output on this one. Along with this, there is one more thing called view child, which we will discuss in the next classes. View child and view children. There is a third way of taking child component to parent component, which is view child or view children. We will discuss it in the next class. I hope it's clear. If any doubts, please let me know, ma. Okay. And for some people who are not having the repository, and I'm just sharing it to you, GitHub repository one more time, ma. Okay, just let me go. Angular 730, Control C. Now I just shared the repository also. And in the repository also you can check the notes, or in the drive also you can check the notes, ma. I will just updated everything. I will, let me just write it here. Cd dot git add dot git commit m update. Now git push u origin main. So automatically it will push, sir. Someone asked one question, sir. Please tell about workspace and application project and the component. Sir, here you should understand it. Normally, whenever you write it here, sir, see, let me explain to you. Every time why we wrote this commands is whenever you write, if you write it here, one command like ng new, if I write it here, ng new, and if I write some name, something ABC, then automatically Angular will create one big application. Okay. Angular by default will create the application will contain everything including the source file because the source file is the main file in the application. Okay. But but if I write it here instead of this, if I write it here ng uh if I write it here instead of that, if I write it something like ng new ABC, and if I say application false, application equals to false, then what will create? It will create some kind of workspace. What does it mean by workspace? Workspace is like an environment, a big environment it will create. It will create something like a big box. Inside this, you can put how many applications you want. So it is like the see, it is like the package and all. It is also whole template will be there, whole template without SRC. So there is no SRC. If because I said it application false. So obviously if the SRC is not there, you can't run it. There is nothing you can run. Now, how do you run it, sir? Then what you will do after doing this, here you will write ng generate application. You will give one application name. Okay, something. Now automatically what will happen inside this whole template, it will create one small application. Inside this whole one, it will create one small application and it will name it as that ghgx. What if I wrote another command? If I write it in another one again, I write it here ng generate application again, then what will happen? Again, it will create another one. It will create another one. That's what every day we are doing it, sir. Okay. Just try to understand. Now here it will just create it. KKK. Now this whatever the projects which are KKK or GHX, all the things are inside one folder called project. Now these things each one have their own SRC. That is called work environment. Okay, work environment or workspace. If you see the folder structure, this is the folder structure, sir. Inside each project, you may have their own components and all. Okay. Notes also will be shared inside the notes also will be shared to the drive, sir. You can check it in the drive or even in the GitHub repository notes also it will be there. Okay. The complete PDF notes of whole Angular, I will share it at a time. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Any other doubts, ma? Any other doubts anyone have? If anyone have any other doubts, you can let me know. Okay, I hope no. Okay, thank you all. Thank you. We'll meet Monday.